Welcome to 24 Hour Sports. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Today I'm talking about my top 5 free agency moves that I've seen today. Recording this at 7 o'clock, so it's a pretty safe time. If some news comes out when this video comes out, that's going to be a kind of interesting situation. But let me start off with number 5. I got Connor McGovern to the Buffalo Bills. I think this is a pretty sweet move. A team that was in play to get Osiris Torrance. Now, they're putting themselves in a prime position to get Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs. They can look at some other spots and even still go interior offensive line in the mid rounds. But in that first round, I think it's really in play right now to get a running back. Going at number 4. I got Nate Davis to the Chicago Bears, a team that needed offensive line help, got offensive line help. And let me talk about the details of the deal. What exactly did he get? He got 3 years, $30 million, $10 million. That's not bad for an interior lineman, especially a guard. And this is a team that has cap space. They did the most that they could in day one with this cap space. So that's my number 4 move. You're getting Justin Fields some help. I see they didn't attack any tackles. Mike McGlinchey, Jawan Taylor, the guys who were on the market, the Bears didn't tag along in that sweepstakes. So it's interesting. With that number 9 pick that they currently hold, are they going offensive lineman there? Is Paris Johnson in play? Is Peter Skoronski in play? What's the move there? Are we still trading back again? That's what I want to know. Going to my number 3 pick, this is kind of an interesting one, kind of a shell shock, but I got Cameron Sutton to the Detroit Lions. And why I have Cameron Sutton to the Detroit Lions, I believe this puts them in play to shake it up. Talk about Jalen Carter, his draft stock falling, potentially getting out of that top 5. He can fall into a sweet spot. Dan Campbell, that culture, that team, they fight. They let players be themselves, and they hold people accountable with some great leadership that they have on that team. I think it's a perfect fit. And I was already thinking about this in a mock draft that I'm going to create, having Jalen Carter going to the Detroit Lions. But I was thinking, Witherspoon, Gonzalez, but Cameron Sutton's 28. Let's talk about the details of his deal. 3 years, $33 million, $22.5 million guaranteed. He's an outside corner. So what are you going to do with him, Okuda, and Witherspoon Gonzalez? I don't see the 3 of them being on the field at the same time. So now I think it's time to ratchet it up. Anthony Richardson is still in play. Talk about the culture. Building Anthony Richardson while we got Jared Goff. This is a team that I think is still going to compete in the coming season, making the playoffs. They really can do some sweet things in this draft. I think this was an underrated move. They made it. They got a good corner. Solid move. But going over to number 2, this is kind of a different one than what we talked about with the previous 2. I got Tremaine Edmunds and TJ Edwards. It's a combo move, combo deal. And I said previously in a video, which I just released this morning, I said, for the Chicago Bears, you got Nicholas Morrow hitting the free agent market. But beyond that, I want to clean the slate. I want to wipe the entire slate clean in our linebacker room. They did just that, adding 2 top-tier off-the-ball middle linebackers. Tremaine Edmunds had a great season. TJ Edwards had a good season. Super Bowl run. He was that starting middle linebacker. Played over Nakobe Dean. Played alongside Kaiser White. So those 2 coming in. Tremaine Edmunds, like I said, ultra athletic. I think he offers you some things in coverage. TJ Edwards can thump, can run. Pretty sweet move. And you also want to continue to build that defense with defensive line. Maybe you go corner. I like your safety duo, Eddie Jackson, coming back. You put yourself in a sweet position. And you got 2 spots on this list. You got Nate Davis and you got the combo of TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmunds. So you really had the best free agency day. To me, I give you an A+ for what you did with all those moves today. Going to my number 1 move is kind of obvious. Javon Hargrave to the 49ers. Arik Armstead, Nick Bosa, Javon Hargrave. Arik Armstead is the guy who can play that 0 tech, can line up over the center. Javon Hargrave offers you the versatility. He can play in the 3, can play in the 1. He can do that. And Nick Bosa, Defensive Player of the Year. What more can you want from a defensive line? We talked about a record-breaking sack season with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think this team might actually break the record. I think they can really rival that now with what they have. He's going to disrupt in the interior, in the pass rush. He's going to penetrate against run gaps. This is going to be a difficult team. We talk about Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, Travarius Ward, all of those guys that I've talked about, that I've named. This is a very dangerous defense. I think last year they were the best defense, and now they're just putting themselves in a prime position to do it all over again. Quarterback is the question mark. They got Sam Darnold. And that's interesting because we saw, in the playoffs, Brock Purdy got hurt. Trey Lance was already hurt. Now you had to go to Josh Johnson. Now you can go to Sam Darnold, who's probably just as talented as Josh Johnson. But that's here nor there. Good move, had a good day. Now, let's talk about some of the other moves before we wrap up this video because there's some other interesting things. Mike McGlinchey, 5 years, $87.5 million. That's an overpay. He's a right tackle. I understand it's a position of need. You want to build with Russ. You want to continue to run the ball. But no. I've watched tape on Mike McGlinchey, and I told you guys when I've done film breakdowns on the 49ers, I said their right guard and their right tackle. That is the sweet spot on that 49ers offensive line. And now you on the Denver Broncos. I don't know how much of it's an upgrade, but I don't know how much of an upgrade it is because I just don't value Mike McGlinchey like the Denver Broncos did. Looking at Jimmy G, went to the Las Vegas Raiders, got $72 million. That's a pretty solid deal for a guy like that. Interesting, 24 a year. I think he comes in, like I said, Josh McDaniels. I really leaned away from him going Richardson, Levis, trying to get a guy like that because I said, now, when you find yourself in this position, I'm Josh McDaniels. I haven't won anything yet. I haven't proven that I'm a good head coach. Just got off Derek Carr. My job is on the line. So I got to go Peter Skoronski. I think Christian Gonzalez, one of those corners are in play because their secondary isn't that talented. They can really do a lot. Just add talent to that football team with that 7th overall pick. Jimmy G is your guy going into the season. Jamel Dean re-upped with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Andre Dillard, Philadelphia's tackle, went to Tennessee. Some pretty solid moves. Jermaine Pratt re-upped with Cincinnati. I like him. Logan Wilson, that's a nice duo. Shy Tuttle got a pretty solid contract to go to Carolina. They got some interesting things going on. I don't know what the direction is. They got to get weapons. For me, personally, I think they have to get weapons. See Jonathan Jones re-ing up. Alex Anzalone, another guy who re-upped. Robert Woods going to Houston. Overall, a pretty solid day. And I mean, some news just broke. That New York Giants got Bobby Okereke, stud linebacker. I got to see what the details are, so I'm going to look this up real quick because this news just literally came out. Signing with the Giants, agreeing to terms. They might not even have the contract details up yet, but this is the team that needed linebacker. If they were going to go Trenton Simpson, Drew Sanders, reach for a linebacker in the first round, that's kind of not what you want to do. So I'm thinking you pairing him with Jarrett Davis, Bobby Okereke coming from Indianapolis, pretty solid linebacker room. Now in the draft, I'm focusing on those DBs, or I want to get the receiver who I like in this draft. Maybe Quentin Johnson, maybe Zay Flowers, any of those guys. We can really hone in, focus in on that. New York Giants have something to say about next season. And really, they got the ball and ran on them when it mattered the most. So getting this, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, Kayvon Thibodeau coming into another season. I love this move. Just talking about it because it literally just happened. So 4 years, $40 million deal. I like that. I wouldn't put it in my maybe it gets in there with Connor McGovern or Nate Davis, one of those moves. I don't know if I just want to throw it in the top 5 because it barely made it in the video. So it's a good deal. I like it. Overall, a pretty good day. And if I see any other moves, you may get a quick video or we're going to drop a short just to cover that move. But right now, that's going to do it for today. Thank you for watching. We out.